What's up? What's up? How is everyone doing? Let's get right into it. How's everyone's weekend go? Anyone watch the Jake Paul fight yesterday? That joint was crazy. We're gonna head right into it. What's up? What's up? About to go over the earnings and the economic calendar in a second. Got a lot of irrelevant earnings, but we gotta go over them. Alright, bet. Let's jump right into it. So on Monday, which is today, Fubo, they announced earnings. PreMarket, Zoom, Oxy, they announced earnings after hours today on Monday. Tuesday, Target, PreMarket, and then Rivian, AMC is after hours on Tuesday. Wednesday, Neo, Wendy's, Lowe's, Wednesday PreMarket, and then Wednesday after hours is Salesforce and Snowflake and Plug. Like I said, these are a bunch of irrelevant earnings. I really don't even care about any of these companies. But Thursday, not a lot on Thursday either. Like we have Dell, we have ChargePoint, Costco, Best Buy, Macy's, but like these are all the companies that I actually just don't really look at all. I mean, Zoom's going to be very interesting. And then possibly Snowflake. Snowflake might actually be something that we could trade. But Zoom, Snowflake, not even Salesforce, Plug, no, Lowe's. Lowe's is just to see how it is with Home Depot. And that's pretty much it. Like, these are just a bunch of earnings that I don't care about. So we can go right out of that. Now, for the economic calendar this week, we have a lot of stuff this week, actually, again, which is unfortunate. But we have durable good orders, which is at 8:30 today, and then pending home sales at 10. So those are two important things to look for, just in case if you're in a position and the news comes out. You got to be careful about that. Tomorrow, 8:30 as well, and then something at 9, and then something at 9:45, which is Chicago PMI. And then consumer confidence at 10. So back-to-back days, 8:30 and then 10. Wednesday, we have petroleum status report at 10:30, manufacturing index at 10, PMI at 9:45. Again, we have news almost every single day so far. Thursday, we have jobless claims as always, and then productivity and costs 8:30, natural gas at 10:30. And then something at 4:30, which is the Fed balance sheet. A little better, but it literally looks like every single day during market hours there's something. And then Friday we have something at 10 o'clock, the ISM Services Index, and then a speaker at 12, and then a speaker at 4:15. So Friday's a little better, but we have something at 8:30 and 10 o'clock today. 8:30, 9:45, 10 o'clock tomorrow. 9:45, 10 o'clock, 10:30 tomorrow. Or Wednesday, and then 8:30, 8:30, and then 10:30 on Thursday. Friday's a little better because we only have something at 10. PMI composite final doesn't really do anything usually, so got a lot of stuff, unfortunately. Now let's actually go into everything that is moving this morning. Markets in the morning. Futures are higher, rebounding from a tough week. Last week was tough. The deal makers' juices are clearly flowing again with Pfizer in its early stage talks to acquire Seagen. Shares in the $30 billion biotech were up sharply early this morning. Okay. Stocks to watch. Pfizer and Seagen. Pfizer shares were 1.3% lower, while Seagen stock jumped 13% pre-market. Okay. That I don't care. Warren Buffett company posted a loss of $22.8 billion for the year, stung by $67.9 billion in investment and derivative contract losses. Company's Class B shares were up slightly. Meta to block the social media's company acquisition of virtual reality startup. Stock stood slightly higher. Tesla's plant is now producing 4,000 cars per week, 3 weeks ahead of schedule. According to Rutgers report, the EV maker stock was trading 2% higher. And then these are just earnings that we just went over. Corporate stock buybacks keep market afloat. Wix daily call options volume starting to increase a little bit. That's about it for that. Real-time economics. Burned out. More Americans are turning to part-time jobs. Okay. Inflation. And with high inflation and prices for food, retired or opted out of the workforce are taking on part-time jobs to supplement their household income. So basically saying the people that were retired are coming back. What to watch for today. Durable good orders for January are expected to fall 3.6%, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. Pending home sales at 10 o'clock is expected to rise 0.9%. The speaker at 10:30. Manufacturing survey at 10:30. Americans in their 30s are piling on debt. Tell me something I don't know. Apartment rents fall as crows. Okay. I guess that's alright. How companies could lose workers without imposing layoffs. So everything else is just, I feel like this is just irrelevant now. Yeah. Pretty much went over everything that we need to know for today. So that is everything that we need to know for today. Now we can go right into the watch list itself. Take a look at this 1 hour time frame. As you guys can see, we are trying to come back down in just this area where I have so much support levels for Tesla. If we look at the daily time frame right here, we can see that we're trying to hold this certain area right here. I think I had a buyer zone. Let's get this buyer zone up. Yeah, I have a buyer zone all the way down to this 173. We're not even close. But as you guys can see right here, if I take away these arrows, as you guys can see right around this area, there's a lot of support, right? You guys can see there's a lot of support in this area, and it looks like Tesla is trying to hold up in that area. So I want to see what it does here. If we potentially could get a move higher just from this area, even if it's not like permanent, even if we don't make a new high into that 218 area, just a nice move maybe into that 210. Just a small nice move into there. Like, I'm not even expecting a new high or anything like that. If we could just bounce right now just temporarily into that 210, we would get a nice 205 break, and that's exactly what I had on Tesla, is this 205 area. That's what I want to see break. I had 200 and that broke pre-market, but it still kind of looks good, right? We could see that it kind of held up there in that area. We started coming down a little bit, and then we just broke out, and then we retested again. That 200 level doesn't look bad, honestly. If I want to see another intraday reaction there for it to really confirm a level, and I also want to see how big the wall is there. But that 200 level does not look bad at all, especially how it reacted pre-market. Didn't really invalidate it, just made it kind of stronger. But we're coming up to this 205. That's exactly what I'm going to see to the upside, though, is this 205 area. That's my next upside level. My downside level is not until this 192. The reason why it's not until 192 is, number one, we already came down there Friday. Like, we're already down at that 192 area. You could play 193 if you really wanted to, but if you look back at previous price action, let's go back about 10 days. You guys can see that 192 also is in this area. 193 already broke, and it got choppy in that area. Again, you can't really expect a huge move or a nice move in an area before that was choppy. Like, if it was choppy beforehand, you can't really expect a nice move now. So it's like, I want to find the best high probability levels, and it's that 192, which is why we're pretty far away from that, and I doubt we get to the 192. And even if we do, by then it's just going to be overextended, and we're probably not even going to get a nice move. So 205 is most likely thing to trade today on Tesla. If we trade it, again, it is a Monday, so we got to be careful about that. Contracts are not going to move the way that it's supposed to, because it is a Monday. Take a look at NVIDIA now. So as you guys can see right here, we had a couple levels for NVIDIA, but the closest one is right here. If we take a look at the 1 hour time frame, you guys can see exactly where I got this 230 level from. And it looks like we're trying to bounce off of that right now, which is all amazing. But we had a reaction here, a nice rejection at that 230 area. Nice rejection at that 230 area. We broke out of that, right, from earnings. And then we started to retest that on Friday. Now, the reason why I made it a zone instead of a level is because of this, right? It was just chopping around back and forth, back and forth. And I didn't really like that, but it just shows how much support is in this area. So I wanted to mark it accordingly. So now I made it a zone, and then now it started to bounce off of that. My next upside level is at 240. Like 240 is looking really nice for this upside. NVIDIA is looking pretty strong just because it is bouncing off of this support area right here. If we can get 240, hopefully it doesn't break today, because contracts, who knows how much they're going to move. It's probably going to be like 2-3%, which is nothing when it's supposed to be like 10% because 5 DTE. But 240 is looking good. If I'm going to play it to the downside, it's going to be under the zone, so around that 229.6, targeting around this 226 area. A very nice drop. This could definitely just drop $3 right there if it does want to come back down. That's exactly what I'm going to be targeting. Now again, not really trying to predict. You just got to react to what you see. But hopefully I can get some runners to leave it into that 226 area, just because it does look like a very nice support area. So I want to see how that goes. Hopefully none of these break today, because again, I don't know if I'm going to be able to play it because the contracts are not going to move whatsoever. It just wouldn't be worth it. But after that, I don't really have a level until potentially that 215. I might make something closer depending on if we get in that area, but right now we're not even in that area, so it's not even something to worry about. And then 210, 206, and then 202. We're pretty far away from all those. And Tesla's still just back in this range right here. Taking a look at Meta. Go to the daily right here. As you guys can see, we are literally hanging on by, we closed above that. Where did we open at? 168.64. So it's like right there. Meta is trying to hang on to our support zone right here. I want to see what it does in this area. Right now it's actually up pre-market. Yeah, we're up in the zone pre-market. Not really looking to do anything with Meta, honestly. Take a look at Amazon, then we'll take a look at Zoom. I don't think I really have anything on Amazon either. I think that already broke 92. Amazon is just, yeah, that already broke. So I'm not even looking at Amazon today either. Zoom has earnings, and you guys can see this price action is just not there. The only way that I'll be able to even look at Zoom is if the volume really comes in and continues to be coming in. Because this looks disgusting. Like, it just doesn't, it lacks volume. And that's exactly what we need when we trade, is volume. So depending on how the earnings are after hours, that would look nice. Snow. Let's take a look at the 1 hour right here. That 180 level, if we can get upside from earnings, that 180 level is looking amazing. Like, I can't wait to trade that. Downside, pretty far away. Let's go back a couple days. Kind of just in this area of just consolidation, just back and forth, back and forth. There's not really a clear-cut level here for downside. Yeah, not really a level that I like to the downside, unless we start to get down in this, I would say 135, 132 area. Like, that's the only one that like looks decent. But I really want to see how earnings are, and then we can make our levels accordingly. First upside level that I'm looking at, though, is that 180. 180 is looking amazing for Snow. But we'll wait until earnings. I think it's Wednesday after hours, so we'll just wait until then. Snow. Take a look at NQ right now. So NQ, we're in the zone right here. I made a new zone yesterday, and now we are bouncing off of that. We have the zone right here, that one, so 11,918.25, and then 11,850 at the bottom of that zone area. Reaction at 11,871. You guys can see, let's go back We're already back. Let's go back to right around this area right here. As you guys can see, that we had a nice reaction here at the top of the zone. You guys can see nice reactions right there. Rejected that and then broke higher, retested that, and just made a new high in this area right here. Again, we came down, rejected that, and then came lower. So it's a very nice reactions in this area. Started to bounce, broke down, and then I made my reaction level based off of this, because that's when we made this new high after that. So this is what started this whole rally right there, which is why I have it as a reaction level. A very nice move off of that, so that is something to look out for. And then everything else is literally the same. We've had these levels for a very long time now. I got rid of the middle reaction level because we already used that, so now it's good to go. We already made our money off of that. So now it's trying to come above that important key level of 12055.25. Right now, kind of bounced off the bottom of this area after a huge move to the downside. Starting to bounce. I want to see exactly what happens here and just in this area, because right now this is like just the area of consolidation of whether if we get up here or if this thing starts rejecting, comes right back down to here. I just want to see exactly what happens. But right now we just formulate a plan. Like, there's no predicting, it's just reacting to what you see. So right now we're above here. I could play calls as long as it's holding our important key level. Now, if it's rejecting our important key level, I could only play puts. Like, if I'm looking at something, for example, if I'm looking at SPY puts and NQ is rejecting this important key level, then I'm good to go. But if NQ is bouncing off of our important key level and I'm looking at SPY puts, it's really not that high probability, because this has room up to here because now it's holding this important key level. Same thing if we get up to here and it starts to reject this area, I could only play puts unless it holds this 12156. If it's rejecting, I can only play puts here, because then we can go all the way down to here. If it's holding this 12156, I can play calls because I see buyers are actually holding this area over a reaction level, if that makes sense. Same thing down here. If we're rejecting this, all right, if we're rejecting this, puts, rejecting this, puts, holding this, calls, if we come down and hold this, calls. If it's breaking under this 11,918.25 and holding under, then you're able to play puts. But you just have to think about it for a second. All right, how much room do we have? If there's a lot of support in that area and you're trying to play puts right here before it breaks out, right? If you're trying to play puts right here on SPY before it breaks out and you see NQs at this huge area of support, the chances of you making money is very low. Like, you don't have that big high of a probability of actually making money on puts. Like, there's a reason why there's so much support in this area. If you got calls, you have a lot of room to either direction, versus here, you only have room until where the support is, right? And this is where the support is. So you have to be able to either, number one, if you see a lot of sellers there, wait for it to go and break under this 11,918.25, and then you're able to play puts, just a nice breakout. But you have to be able to formulate your trades based off what other stuff is doing. It's just basic market context. Just like if we're breaking above this 12,308.5, you'll be able to play calls. But getting into this area, you want to be cautious if you're playing calls, because there's so much resistance in this area. And it's just about market context. And a lot of people do not look at anything else besides what they're trading, and they're not able to get the market context. So right now it is bouncing. If we look at the daily time frame as well, it's bouncing. We'll see how long that lasts, though, honestly, because this still pretty much looks weak. I want to see if we just retest the zone one more time and then go down. But it's trying to hold this area. I want to see how long that lasts, though. As you guys can see, this is trying to hold this important key level. It's not exact, but we just know in this area, like, you're not going to play puts right here, right? If you play puts, let's say you see it holding this area, because after 1, 2, 3, 4, and then it's holding this area, you want to be cautious about playing puts right here, especially now that it's actually bouncing off that important key level. You don't really have that much room unless we're able to get sellers to actually hold it under this 12055.25. And it did for a second and then came right back up and then just try to hold this area. So playing puts here is like, you're just going to lose money. You're just giving the market their money, right? And just people like to chase stuff. So if you played calls here, right, that's nice because it's holding this important key level and you had a nice move. But you have to think about it, the probabilities. Now, if we actually held under this 12.055, that would be nice for puts, but we didn't. Just like playing calls at high day, unless it breaks out, unless you're playing a breakout, it's good to go. But as you guys can see, it rejected this area. There's a lot of resistance in this area. As soon as you start to see it actually reject and not break out, it's very nice for puts because you have room all the way into this area. And then what happens when we got into this area? This is why I have these important key levels, because if we were still in this and we still had runners, this is where I should be majority out, because I know this is a very reactive area. And then it came down and came right back above this 12.055.25. I would have been fully out because I know this is an important key level, and there's a reason why it's reacting the way it is at this area. This is why I have these levels. Every level that I have is very important. There's a reason why I have it on my chart. And if there wasn't, or it didn't have that much significance, then I wouldn't have it on my chart. So everything I have is for a purpose. Now we're taking a look at ES. If we get to 100 likes, then I'll live stream tomorrow as well. You guys smashed that thing on Friday, so let's see how you guys do today. How many people do we got in here right now? I got about 82 people. How is everyone doing so far? So far, so good. You guys doing all right in the morning? Great, bro. That's good to hear. Good to hear. I feel like I'm flying through this watch list right now, so I kind of want to just chill for a second. Want to chill for a second. How's y'all weekends go? And if there's anything else you guys want me to look over after I do ES, just let me know. I'll go over ES, and then I'll go over SPY, and then Netflix. Oh, this thing better chill. And then I'll go over Netflix, and then I'll do it. Thank you so much. I got you. All right, let's go over ES. Now, as you guys can see right now, this thing is rejecting this 4,000. So, look, I'm going to do this live, right? You're not going to be playing calls in this area. Number one, we're at a very reactive area. You're not going to play calls yet unless it broke out. The only way that I'm playing calls is if it breaks out of this area. But you have a lot of profitability if you wanted to play puts. Now, is it a high probability? Not yet, because this thing looks very strong. This thing looks like it wants to break out of 4,000. But you know that your profitability for downside, you have a lot of room. You have room right into this area right here if you wanted to play puts. Now, you have to remember, just because you have a lot of profitability does not mean it's a high probability. Right? You have a higher probability of this thing breaking out of 4,000, and then you play the breakout above that. But if this thing starts to reject, see, look, exactly, you have a higher probability of playing the upside, like live right there. This thing was very strong. Just because you have a lot of profitability to the downside does not mean you have a high probability. Now, if this thing started rejecting and this thing finally broke out to the downside, which is what I like to call the reversal breakouts, if it broke under here again, when it's rejecting that 4,000 and you're looking at the tape, and you're looking at the level 2 and you see huge walls are continuing to stay at that 4,000, then you'll be able to play puts because there's a high probability all the way down to the downside, as you guys can see right here. But again, just because you have a high profitability does not mean it's a high probability. Now, this thing closes under 4,000 and starts to break this area, then you're able to get puts, right? Then you're able to get puts. You have a very profitability with these puts, but again, only way that I'll be able to play that is if you see sellers in that area. And again, it looked very strong to break that 4,000. Then it broke. A very nice 10% move if you really wanted to. Now, again, this is pre-market, so it's not going to be anything crazy. But on a regular 4,000 break, easy 10%. And then if we wanted to come back down and close under that 4,000, you'll be able to play a rejection. All right. But right now, it's holding that 4,000. This is still pretty strong. But if the line was right here and it started to close and hold under this and kind of consolidated under that, it's getting weak. And then you find the break. Now, instead of a break like this, if you wanted to play a break to the downside, let's say right here was very reactive and you saw it rejecting, then you're able to finally play puts because you have so much room. But this is just for me to know, like, if I'm in the position, I'm not thinking of it like a breakout, right? Where I'm like, oh, I want to get in and get out, right? Get in, get out. No. With reversals, it's kind of like what I did on Friday. is you kind of are anticipating, and it's not even anticipating, but you're getting in the trade before it breaks out in that one direction. Like for example, let's make it make sense, right? So let's say we had a bunch of support in this area right here. And you're looking, it's going to break out, right? You're looking for a breakout under here. You kind of want to formulate a plan and get in before that. That's exactly how I treat reversals, is like I'm getting in before this thing breaks out by formulating the plan at a reversal point. Look at that. Like, literally look at that. That's insane, right? So, easy, right? That's what I'm saying. Easy 10% right there. But let's say this thing was rejecting, right? If we start to reject and we're starting to come to the downside, you would start to get in puts right here. If it starts rejecting, you start to see sellers. You have room to here. By the time it gets down to here, right, you don't have to play a breakout because you're just leaving runners, and now the runners could finally break out. You're up 70% coming into here, and that's exactly what I did on Friday. I was positioning myself for the breakout instead of just getting in on the breakout. Either way works. If you can't position yourself, because you're not going to be able to position yourself always, like I would say you probably could not position yourself to get in on this breakout with a high probability. But position yourself like we did on Friday. That was very nice to see if we could break that high day. If we go back to yesterday or Friday, you guys can see exactly what I did. I think this was yesterday's or the previous day's low or something like that, right around this area, which is why I like this so much. And then I was positioning myself to break out of this previous high day, right? Or the high day at the time. And this is why we got into calls right here. Positioning myself to break out of this high day, right? Or I could just play the high day break if I wanted to, but that's not what I do. I don't just play high day and low day breaks. But I was positioning myself just in case if it did want to break, then I still had a position left to actually catch the breakout. But it doesn't even have to break out because this is a very high probability trade right here. I still made 46% without it breaking out. I would just made more money if it broke out, and I was positioning myself just in case if it really wanted to, then I already had a position in hand. But this is at a very high probability area. So I'm up 46% just waiting for the breakout. And if it doesn't happen, well, I already sold some at 46% and I only have 10% left. The rest of the contracts, you just stop it out at a very high probability area. And then you're up on the rest of the contracts about 20%. After trimming about 90% in this area, you're up decent, right? You're up very nice on the day just from that move alone. Just planning and getting in ahead of time at a very high probability area. Or you just played a breakout. Just like this. You just played a breakout right here. I don't think you could have positioned yourself accordingly to get in at all in this area just because it is a little choppy in this area. So I probably couldn't even position myself to get in, but I would just play the breakout, right? I would just play the breakout and then put your stop loss at a high probability area right here where it's starting to react in that area. And look at that. That's a $6 move, a 6-point move on ES, right? Just a breakout right there. You don't have to position yourself, but if we were able to position ourselves, and let's say we position ourselves right here or something like that, you would already be up 60%, and then you're waiting for the breakout, and you're able to just let it breathe versus just getting in on the breakout. Either way works, though. I don't know why people get in calls right here at a not very high probability trying to anticipate it, because then you're just going to get burnt. Let's say they got calls right here, and then they sold right there because they took a 10-15% loss. The way that I trade is I want to be able to get in and it goes in my favor right away. That's exactly how I trade. And it's at very high probability areas with volume actually coming in. And that's, you'll be able to see that through the time of sales in level 2. So these are very high probability areas. And as you guys can see, this literally, look at this, live, it just broke out. Very nice move. Look, this thing is still going. So what I would do is I would look back, right? You look back in the certain areas. Where is this next area? Right? Where, again, this thing is just chopping. But look, we have certain areas right here, right? Right around this area. Right around this area. Right around this area. Right around this area. That's exactly when I would start taking profits at reaction levels, right? We come up. We might start taking profits off this first push right here, right? first target right there, right? You're starting to really start to sell some as you start to see some resistance. But you could see a lot of resistance in this area. I would have probably been 90% out just because I see a lot of reactions and I'm probably up 25, 30% now. Now I could leave runners 10%, put my stop loss at the last high probability area, which is that 403, did I just delete it? That 4003. This is where you would just put your stop loss, or you could put your stop loss there depending on how many contracts you have left. But if I have 10%, I most likely would just probably put it to my first trim, right? If I already trimmed twice or something like that, I'd probably put it to my first trim and just try and captivate this whole move. So I'd probably put my stop loss like I'd probably put it right here, at 4,004 for the rest of the contracts, and you just leave it, right? My 10%, I like those things to ride. But how much more room do we really have? We have so much resistance, it's going to have to pull back and test something like this, right? It's going to have to test something after a huge move to the upside. Versus if you get in on a reversal and you try and get in before it breaks out, not anticipating right here, but anticipating at a very high probability area, you could let this thing breathe. And then once you're in, these contracts are already up 70%. You could let this thing breathe. And that's exactly what breakouts need. They need to breathe for a second. That is breathing for a second. Even though that's not even enough, I think this is going to try and come back for another breath. But it's at a point where it will try and come down and retest a certain area before going higher. It can't just keep going up and up and up. It's going to have to slow down a little bit. That's exactly what I was doing on Friday. I was positioning myself for this, so I didn't have to worry about any pullback. Instead of being up 20%, then you'll be up 10% versus if you're in the reversal, you'll be up 70% and then you'll be up 50%. Like, it's not really going to make a difference with the rest of those contracts. Right now, the 4,008, right? We're in this area. Now we wait. If it starts to not hold this 4,008, I know this is a very high probability area and I might take some more off right here. And as you guys can see, it's kind of struggling in this area. So I might want to take some more off right there and I have 5% left just to run. Now your contracts are up about 45%. And this thing is still trying to run. So then you put your stop loss on the rest of the contracts. You can move it up a little bit, but you only have 5% left. And you know this thing needs to pull back. You move it up to 4,005. You see there's a lot of struggling in this 4,009 area. That's where you start to take some profits off. I feel like I'm trading live right now. I don't know how this turned into this, but this is exactly what I'm talking about though. Very high probability areas. This thing in 4,010 area. So this is very high probability areas. But again, breakouts are goated, right? You'll be able to know if you're wrong right away, if you'll know if you're right away. Getting in on the reversal to anticipate, to plan ahead for that high day break is also great because you're able to stay in control of the trade. If you're up 46% and it starts to pull back just a little bit, like right here, let's say you're up 30% and it pulls back when you're up 20%, it's like it's not really going to make a difference if you're already starting to take profits. You're still in the driver's seat right here versus if you got calls right here and it goes down there, you're already down 10%. You might be scared and sell or whatever. So it's why it's very important to be able to position yourself accordingly to get in before. But either way, you're starting to see some resistance. Again, it needs to breathe, it needs to cool back. If you're already in this trade from here, you didn't have to position yourself in this one. If you're in from here, you're chilling, right? You've been taking profits along the way. You have a plan. You don't really have any emotions with this because you're already in the driver's seat. Like, this thing could literally pull back all the way to break even and you're literally chilling because you took off 95% already. You just know, just wait, right? I don't know why people freak out. I don't know why people are sweating so much and they have many heart attacks while they're in a trade. Like, if we already got in there and you're already taking some profits along the way, this thing should be free money at this point. Like, you're just waiting. You just wait, right? That's it. You have 5% left or 10% left of your position. You just wait. You have your plan and you just wait. If it hits your plan, like right now, our stop loss on the rest of the contracts is right here at 4,005. We just wait. That's it. That's all you need to do is wait. Because then patience is very key when it comes to trading. So all you got to do is wait. Just like we did on Friday where we waited. All right, we waited for this thing to come up, right? We weren't sweating at all. Like, this was an easy trade. We got in on the reversal right here as I saw buyers coming in at this 318 area. It came up, came down a little bit to that break even. We were still chilling. This thing still looks strong. Red to green. That just gives me more confidence. Starts to come up. start taking profits along the way. I don't care about that red candle. If it comes down to my stop loss, which was break even at the time, then my rest of my contracts get stopped out of break even. I don't care. Comes up 46%. I see it starting to resist this area right here, starting to come down, and then just move my stop loss up. Then your stop loss is right here. As soon as we start to see sellers coming in under that 39.78, fully out right there. And then it's just, you have to have a plan and just take emotions out of the equation, or else it's just not going to look good. And look, right? All we had to do is just wait. We just had our stop loss there. We just wait. It tried to make a new high and kind of fouled that area. We're at this 4,010. But we already took off 95%. So now I just stick to my plan. You could fully sell out right here, or this thing could make a new high. All right, so we just be patient. You know, I only have 5% left, so why would I sell? You just leave it and just wait until it is 4,010, or you wait until it is 4,005. That's it. Now, if I had more than 5% of my contracts left, then I would probably start selling here. As you guys can see, there's a lot of resistance in this 4,009, 4,010, and we're probably going to be here for another 10 minutes waiting for this, it feels like. But again, it's all about waiting. Waiting is the enemy to most people's profitabilities, honestly. A lot of people can't wait. A lot of people struggle with waiting. But again, you just leave this thing, you set alerts, whatever, right? But usually you should just be watching this, not look at anything else. Netflix. So let's leave this thing alone and then just go to Netflix, right? So let's pretend like we have it on another chart or something like that and just go right to Netflix. And you just wait. We only have literally 5% of those contracts left. I had a level 340, but I'm pretty sure that already broke. 323 is pre-market, but that doesn't really mean anything. Let's go back another 10 days and see what 340 did. Yeah, so 340 already broke. So we get rid of 340. Let's see. This area right here does not look bad. You guys can see this absolutely dumped. This 328 area, after this hump right there, 328 doesn't look bad at all. 330. It's probably honestly that 330 levels was significant, but I want to see what it looked like beforehand. When was the last time we got here? This area. It's about, jeez. Go back a couple 90 days ago. Yeah, so that 330 level looks very significant. You could, depending on that 228 level, you could do something there, but that 330 area does not look bad at all on Netflix. Both of these levels you gotta be looking at, this 228 and 230. Just because the level does not mean you just play it right off of there. You gotta make sure the time of sales is going with you. You gotta make sure there's actual buyers over the sellers there. But those are the two levels of interest right there. And then downside, probably just continuation over here, just because if we look at the daily right here, we kind of just have not been in this level since right here. And the low of this is 313.39. So you could want to just get a continuation under here. If you wanted to play like 314 area, you're going to have to be careful of this low right here, which is 313.39. Personally, I probably wouldn't. I'm not even looking at anything besides ES today, just because it is a Monday and contracts are not going to move on Tesla and Nvidia at all. But if you are going to play under that 314 area today, you got to make sure that you are careful about this reaction level of 313.39. As you guys can see, look at this. We're just slowly getting into this area. Again, it's just patience. Like, it's going to need to cool off. You just stick to your plan. Last year contracts, you can sell on this push. Stop loss on the rest of the contracts is right there. You just wait. As you guys can see, patience pays. Look at that. That was a $10 move from this area right there. That's huge. Contracts are probably up like 50% right now. It's all about waiting. Any levels on Tesla? Yeah, we take a look. NQ is also flying. Dude, I wish this thing does not happen pre-market, but right now my levels on Tesla are this 200 level, 205, and 192 are the closest levels that I'm looking at right now. Closest levels at 205 though, but again, it is a Monday, so contracts are probably not going to move a lot. But these are the levels that I'm looking at: 192, 200, and then 205. If you guys get to 100 likes, I'll be doing this on Monday or on Tuesday. You guys are only halfway there. 4,011 is coming up right there. Like, look at that. You just be patient. Stop loss right there. The rest of the contracts we can sell on that push because this thing is extended to the max now. And then you just wait. Honestly, we probably just move this up to 4,007 just because there is a lot of resistance in this area and it kind of held at 4,008. So if it does go under that, then this thing is probably going to try and reverse. So 4,007 on the rest of the contracts, and then you wait for that 411. Anything else you guys are looking at for the day before we wrap it up in a couple minutes? Hopefully this helped as well, just with ES right now. Like, this is a perfect example. Very high probability trade, what to do with your runners, where to take profits at. And most of the stuff goes over a lot of people's heads. But the SPY corresponds to ES. But you want to look at market context. You want to see what ES is also doing. Feeling bullish on the day. Yeah, this thing has been ripping through all my levels, unfortunately, which is crazy. Like, this has room into this resistance area. So that's what I'm trying. I want to see what happens in that area. If we get into this area and we're starting to reject, then we'll be able to play some puts. But if this thing just absolutely breaks through this level right here, the only thing I can really play off of this is calls into this area. And then if it breaks out of this area, this thing is just going to keep going. So I really want to see what it does in this area, that 4,027.25. Right now we're about $17 away from that, so we'll see what happens in that area. Yeah, because right now it's just consolidation. Yeah, look, so that just broke out. Sell all right there, right? Wait for that. And perfect, fully out. Very nice execution, just right off of that. Selling right there, full out. 70% right there. Like, that's all. All right? That's all you got to do. And that's exactly what we would be doing. Exactly how I trade breakouts or reversals. Just waiting. You know, people are going to have to take profits after a huge move to the upside. I don't know why you think. And you have to think about it this way. Number one, sticking to the plan. But would you get a reverse position right now? Like, let's say you were in calls, and let's say you're scared, right? Let's say you get very nervous or whatever, right? Just think about it this way. If you're in calls, would you get puts in this area? Like, that's how I try and think about it, right? If I'm in this area right here and it's consolidating and you're getting scared or something like that, just think about it this way. Would you get puts in this area? Right? Would you reverse your position? And if the answer is no, then why are you getting scared? Right? If it doesn't look weak and you wouldn't get puts in this area, especially, look, it's holding this 4,008 area, then why are you getting scared to sell? Right? If I wouldn't get puts right now, then why am I selling? Or why am I getting scared? Right? If you're selling based off your targets and whatever, that's fine. But if you're getting scared, would you get a reverse position? If the answer is no, then I should just get your confidence back up. Like, you have to think about it from the opposite perspective. Like, there's other people that are looking to play puts. There's other people that are looking to play calls. What's more high probability, calls or puts? Calls. This thing is holding this 4,008. Calls are a high probability if it breaks above that 4,000. If it's going like this, would you get a reverse position after a huge move like this? Probably not. So why are you getting so scared when you're in calls right now? You're in the right direction. Why are you getting scared about that? And it's just because you're looking at your profits. A lot of people get scared because they're like, oh my gosh, I'm up $100 or whatever, and they'll get scared and they'll just they'll just sell just to sell when they could have been a very nice amount, but they sell so quickly because they don't have a plan and they just get very emotional. That's exactly what you should not be doing. There's no reason why you don't have contracts left for this move right there, right where we sold, right there, right? There's no reason why you don't have contracts after this because you got scared because of this candle right here and you thought it was going to reverse or something. Like, the market doesn't care what you think. All right, the market only reacts to buyers and sellers, not what you think. This is not some mental thing. Like, the market reacts to buyers and sellers. If you see more buyers coming in, you don't see a lot of sellers coming in yet, and you wouldn't get a reverse position, then you should have some contracts left, right? But in this, where we sold, and look at that, a very nice sell right there, literally live. You can see there's a lot of resistance in that area. There's a reason why we sold in that area. This thing could definitely come back down, people taking profits, and then go higher. But again, this is already a $12 move. Like, this thing will probably continue, but again, we're up already a lot, 70%. You just leave it alone, right? We already captivate a nice move of that. As a trader, you're not going to be able to catch the whole move, and this thing could reverse at any second now just because we are starting to get into this a lot of resistance in this area. So it's better to play it safe than sorry. But that's exactly what we did on ES. Like, literally that sell was perfect. Just because then it just pulled back down into this area. It probably will just continue to keep going and going and going. But again, we don't know. We just reacted to what we saw and we stuck to our plan. And now it's trying to hold this area of support. So let's see what it does in that area. But you're already fully out now because we just sold where our target was. That 4,011, that 4,012 area. But this thing could definitely just people taking profits and it continues. But I don't want to be a part of that anymore. We caught a nice move of that. And then that's it. You don't have to catch the whole move, but as long as you catch a good chunk of it with your plan, then you're good to go. As long as you stuck to your plan. And my plan all the way up to right there. And that's it. Any reports going on today? We have something at 8:30 and then we have something at 10. And speakers. We have a lot of stuff this week, honestly. If no 100 likes, please do it in the Discord. We do pre-market review in the Discord. In Stock Method or the free Discord that I have? Yeah, 9-10 is when we start pre-market review in the Discord. Anyone else looking at anything else before we wrap this up? Tesla has Investor Day March 1st. Was that Wednesday, Thursday? No, it already happened, 8:30. And then we have something at 10. Yeah, you guys are pretty far away from those likes. I'm not going to be able to do this tomorrow if we don't get another 30 likes, though, unfortunately. Why did stocks gap up? Well, the market's just going up right now. There's nothing really making it go up or down. It just happens. But, again, the market's not open until... The market, not futures, the market's not open until 4. The futures has been going up this whole time, right? So that's why it's a gap. Every stock is gapped up. But it just wants to go up. There's not really anything... There's no news that really came out. Like, the market will just pick a direction and just go. But not anything crazy. Yeah, but that was at 8:30 though. There was no news that came out in the middle of the night at 2 o'clock in the morning or 12 o'clock in the morning. This thing has just been coming up slow and steady. If we don't get 100 likes today, when will the next stream be? I don't know. I've been on a very decent... I haven't missed a day yet. I haven't missed a day yet. So if we don't get 100 likes, it probably won't be this week. So it's up to y'all. But again, this thing is trying to come up. My next trade is not going to be until this area right here. I want to see what in this area. Don't punish us. Nah, it's just going to be in the Discord. In Stock Method. But this thing comes up right now. I want to see what we do in this area. It's going to be very interesting to see what we do in this area. But that's my next area to target. And then if we take a look at SPY, let's see what SPY is doing right now as well. ES is so much more cleaner than SPY. That's why I've been trading. Like SPY and SPX contracts off of ES versus SPY, because SPY is just not that clean compared to what it should be. Like that 402 area on SPY, it looks good, but I promise you that probably was just a fake out. Watch, let me see. Like, it just doesn't look clean versus ES. ES levels are so clean. Yeah, like what is that? It broke above it, came up 20 cents, right back down. So this is like, it's just not worth it. Like just the chart on SPY. I don't know how people be charting SPY anymore. I did like 2 months ago, a month ago, but then I figured out that this thing looks disgusting versus ES. Like ES, I can make more money looking at ES because of the charts. Like the charts in ES looks fantastic. So if something looks better and we make money based off the charts, why would I not chart that versus SPY? Like ES looks so much better, and I could play the same contracts, SPY or SPX, and make more money because I'm able to get a great entry, like 4,000, right? This level at 833, we'll be able to make money on ES, and if you go to 833, it's like, it's just not that clean, right? This is just disgusting. It's not that clean. Yeah, this thing broke out 399, but it's like, it's just not that clean versus ES. ES is so clean at that level. So it's like ES told us the reason why, and then SPY, you're kind of just gambling, like throwing a dart or something. Vegas is up right now? That's crazy. I'm glad. I'm trying to get that free server more active as well, but there's nothing I can really do about that. As long as Stock Method is active, we chilling. You guys are about 6 likes away, and I am leaving in about 2 minutes to go to the Discord. But you guys have any other questions, anything you guys are looking at, let me know now or forever hold your peace. Do you trade ES? No, I don't trade ES, but I trade off of ES. Like, I'll trade SPY or SPX contracts off it. I won't directly trade ES. I'll make more percentage off of ES, options, like SPX and SPY. Not really in the futures. Anyone else looking at anything else? We pretty much went over the entire S&P 500 today, so I don't know how much more there is. But right now we are, this 240 is getting there on the video though. And Tesla's about $3 away to that 205. Pretty close. It's gonna be close. You guys are about 4 likes away. Gotta leave in a minute. When did you start trading SPX and why instead of SPY? No, I don't really trade SPX instead of SPY. I'd rather trade SPY. I did that one time, but I didn't really like it. Limit or market? I like the market order because my contracts are very high liquid contracts, so the spreads are very tight. So if I'm getting in, this is gonna be the same. Like, you're gonna be chasing it with trying to limit order, the way that I trade. But it depends on how you trade. Yes, sir. Yes, sir. I bet I'm about to head to the Discord. And I'll see you guys hopefully in there. If not, I'll see you guys on YouTube. Peace.